Good morning, everybody. This is Marshall Townsend with the Growing Leadership blog. This is number 18, and it's Monday Mentoring Day. Today, we're going to look at to start or not to start. That is the question. You know, when I work with companies and organizations that they want to take their business to the next level, but there's a lot of things, there's a lot of friction out there that stops them from being able to grow themselves in their business. And yes, they have the great ideas, they have the direction, have everything in order to be able to do this, but there's things that push back at them that stop them from growing. And that's what I want to look at today, is whether to start or not to start. You know, that is the question. And the book that I'm going to reference today is How Successful People Grow by John C. Maxwell. This is a quick little read. It's a small book, and I'll put a link down below where you can get a hold of that on Amazon. But a good read, and there's a lot of great content in it. So I'm going to take a look at today, what are the things that stop us from being able to grow ourselves? And they're called gaps, as John Maxwell calls them. They're called gaps. These are the things that we have to get over. We have to get over in ourselves to be able to go to the next level. The first one is the assumption gap. The assumption, I love the assumption gap, because I've met so many people that say, hey, you know, I assumed I was going to grow. I assumed I was going to get better. I was assuming that I was going to be successful because I bought the book. I read the book. I went to the seminar. I bought the online course. I did all the things. Why is it not working? And that's because they assumed just by attending the course or by reading the book that was going to make them successful. No. Reading the book is good. That's a start point. Using the book, applying the book is what makes you successful. So you can't just assume reading the book's going to, or attending a seminar, or, I paid $500 for my seminar, but I paid $18,000 for mine. I should be that much more successful. And the answer is no. No, it's what you did with it, not how much you paid for it. So do not assume that you're just gonna grow and go. Number two, knowledge gap. I don't know what to do next. Gosh, I've heard that. I've heard businesses tell me. I've heard that in the military. Had a colonel sit down with me once in the middle of a training exercise in the desert, where he had to make a decision on a course of action that he needed to do for the operations order. And at 3:00 in the morning, he couldn't make a decision. He did not know what to do. And instead of looking into himself and realizing he had the knowledge in himself all the time, he actually picked up the phone, a cell phone, and called the 4-star general in Korea on the other side of the planet and asked him what he should do. And then he got guidance from him. Instead of reaching into himself, he reached around the other side of the world, got guidance, and then executed a plan that ultimately just failed miserably, because the guy on the other side of the world didn't know the situation, but gave him a canned answer, gave him canned knowledge. Kind of like, I read the book. Why doesn't it work? Again, this was, instead of searching for the knowledge which is inside us, it's very easy to reach out and just say, hey, I don't know what to do. Somebody else tell me what to do. So the knowledge gap is, I don't know what to do. And the truth is, you really do. You really do. And if not, there's resources for you to begin to learn. But the bottom line is, take the learning and apply it. The timing gap. Oh, this is a big one that's going on right now. Is we've got COVID going on, and everybody's like, well, should I invest in my company? Should I bring on new employees? Should I bring on that partner? Should I do that extension or start that new product line? Maybe I should wait till this is over, till the whole, the COVID thing is over. And when's it going to be over? Well, was it over yesterday? Was it over tomorrow? Is it going to be next week? 2 months? 2 years? How long are you going to wait? How long are you going to wait for the right time to get started? And we can put that on us. There's a ton of reasons why we don't start, because we think it's not the right time. How about number 4, the mistake gap? Oh man, this is one that gets people. I'm afraid to make a mistake. I'm afraid that this kind of goes back to this colonel. not being able to make a decision at 3 o'clock in the morning because he was afraid of making a mistake. And he knew that lots of people were watching him, and it drove him to the point where he couldn't make a decision. He couldn't take a course of action. And that's the big one, I would say, the mistake gap. Follow right on the heels of that is number 5, the perfection gap. When I do DISC assessments, a C is a person that has to have everything organized and have to have everything in order before they can go to the next level. They're perfectionists. Before they can choose what shoes they're going to wear that morning, all the shoes have got to be lined up in order, paired up neatly in the closet, and then they can make a decision on a pair of shoes. That's the same way in work. They've got to line everything up and get it in order before they can make a choice on what to do. And I do this kind of as a pyramid format. There's individual tasks that need to be done, there's collective tasks, and then there's all these things that build up to be able to do an event. But what I've learned is that it's not until you do the event do you develop understanding of how all those bits and pieces fit together. So some people are busy building the blocks that build the pyramid. If you don't go out and see the pyramid from the top down, you will never understand how all that fits together. And that's what I call the aha moment, where you go, oh, that's why I need to do that. That's why that's in this order. That's why, because I won't see that until I do the whole exercise or the event. So I've got to commit to get into doing the event instead of waiting to make sure everything is perfect. Number 6, inspiration gap. Oh, this is, inspiration. Inspiration's interesting. You got up and you went, I just don't feel, it's Monday. I don't feel like doing this today. I'm not inspired to do a blog today. Well, if I'm waiting to be inspired, I'm going to be waiting forever, because what inspires me is the doing, is the getting involved. It's getting in front of the camera and taking action. Inspires me. It's talking to you inspires me. But if I sat off stage the whole time and said, I'm not inspired because I'm waiting to, it's it's the cycle. I can't get in front of the camera where I'm inspired because I'm going to stay off screen and wait to be inspired. No, you can't do that. All right. The comparison gap, number 7. Oh, that's a big one. I've heard people sit and say, well, my company, I really can't grow my company because I'm looking around. Look at all the other companies that are like mine that are doing so much better. I was on social media. Did you see those pictures oh my gosh, my competition is doing so much better. The other people around me are, oh man, they've got pictures of them on surfboards at the beach, and it goes on and on. And you don't realize that all that social media stuff is everybody else at their very best. That's the pictures they share with you. They don't share the bad pictures. They share the good pictures. But what you see in yourself is always see the bad pictures because you're comparing yourself to them. Now, just put that out of your mind. Where you are is right where you need to be. Stop comparing to people. Number 8, expectation gap. I thought this was going to be easier. I expected, I said earlier, I took the class, I read the book, I went to the seminar. I expected this would all just happen. It would just all fall in order. And the efforts that I put into it would just always provide a payback, and they don't. You put a lot of effort into things. Sometimes you don't get payback from it, but it's putting in the effort creates the learning opportunity to take it to the next level. But you've got to see that it's the best way to describe it is that it's not the destination, but the journey. So the expectations have got to be not in achieving the objective, but in learning along the way. And if you take a look at all of these 8 things I talked about, they've all got to do with self-talk and how we see ourselves right now. And how we see ourselves is, and here's what I would ask you. Sit down right now and just kind of close your eyes and think about, what does success look like? What is it when you're successful in what you're doing? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What are you doing? Kind of close your eyes and think into that. And then the thing is that we do is that we keep thinking that success is at the end of the rainbow. It's at the end of the journey. Success is out there someplace and we can't get there. But in reality, success is the journey of getting there. It is the path of getting there. It is the climb up the mountain. It's not the top of the mountain, but the climb up the mountain, which is success. So when it comes down to, to start or not to start on this journey to success, do you realize taking the first step is the first success? So yeah, the whole idea of not starting, that's not success. But starting and taking your first step begins your success journey. And success is not a future event. It's here and now if you're moving forward. All right. So that's mentoring for today, Monday mentoring. So I'll tell you what, if you come up with that question to start or not to start, start. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.